Hello, young learners. Today, we will hear a story that teaches us about history and helps us learn English. It's about a man named Adolf Hitler, who rose to power and caused much suffering. By learning his story, we understand the importance of kindness and peace. So, let's begin. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in a small town called Braunau am Inn in Austria. He was the fourth of 6 children. Adolf's father, Alois Hitler, was a strict man who worked as a customs officer. His mother, Clara Hitler, was kind and gentle. She loved Adolf very much. As a child, Adolf loved to draw. He dreamed of becoming an artist. He was close to his mother, but his relationship with his father was difficult. His father wanted him to follow in his footsteps and work for the government, but Adolf had different dreams. In school, Adolf was not a very good student. He often got into trouble for not paying attention. He preferred to daydream and draw instead of doing his schoolwork. His teachers said he was smart but not hardworking. Despite his poor grades, he had a strong interest in history and admired Germany's strong leaders. When Adolf was 14, his father died. This was a hard time for him and his family. 2 years later, his mother also fell ill and passed away. Adolf was devastated. He was left without his parents' guidance at a young age. These events deeply affected him and shaped his future. Adolf moved to Vienna, the capital of Austria, hoping to become an artist. He applied to the Academy of Fine Arts but was rejected twice. This rejection hurt him deeply. He struggled to make a living and had to live in a homeless shelter for a while. These tough times made him bitter and angry. Despite these challenges, Adolf was determined to find his place in the world. He started to develop strong opinions about politics and society. His early life was filled with difficulties, but these experiences shaped the man he would become. Adolf Hitler's youth was marked by his struggles and the influences around him. After moving to Vienna, he lived in poverty. He could not achieve his dream of becoming an artist. This period was tough and lonely for him. In Vienna, Adolf was exposed to various political ideas. He listened to many speeches and read books about politics. He began to develop his own views on society. He was influenced by the nationalism and anti-Semitism that were common in Vienna at the time. Nationalism is the belief that one's country is better than others, and anti-Semitism is hatred towards Jewish people. Adolf admired the strong leaders who spoke about making their country powerful. He believed that Germany and Austria should be united as one great nation. He started to blame the problems he saw on certain groups of people, especially the Jewish community. This hatred and blame were wrong and harmful, but they became central to his beliefs. Despite his difficult life, Adolf continued to dream big. He believed that he was destined for something great. He wanted to lead and bring change to society. His experiences in Vienna played a significant role in shaping these ideas. Adolf also admired the German culture and traditions. He felt a strong connection to Germany, even though he was born in Austria. This admiration grew stronger over time and influenced his future actions. As he grew older, Adolf's views became more extreme. He started to believe that strong leadership and strict control were needed to fix society's problems. These beliefs would later shape his actions as a political leader. Adolf's youth and early influences were crucial in shaping his worldview. The hardships he faced and the ideas he encountered in Vienna made him determined to change society. Unfortunately, his beliefs were based on hatred and division, which led to terrible consequences. Adolf Hitler's early aspirations and struggles continued to shape his path. After his failures in Vienna, he moved to Munich, Germany, in 1913. He hoped for a fresh start and new opportunities. In Munich, Adolf continued to struggle to make a living. He did odd jobs and sold his paintings to survive. Despite these hardships, he remained determined. His passion for German nationalism grew stronger. He believed that Germany needed a strong leader to restore its greatness. Adolf's aspirations were clear. He wanted to be part of something bigger. He dreamed of a united and powerful Germany. He believed that his ideas could bring about the change he desired. However, his extreme beliefs and hatred towards certain groups clouded his vision. In 1914, World War I broke out. Adolf saw this as an opportunity to serve his country. He joined the German army and fought as a soldier. The war was a significant turning point in his life. He was brave and dedicated, and he was awarded several medals for his service. During the war, Adolf's beliefs grew stronger. He saw the war as a fight for Germany's honor and strength. He developed a deep hatred for those he believed were responsible for Germany's problems, including the Jewish people and the country's political leaders. These beliefs became central to his thinking. After the war ended in 1918, Germany was in turmoil. The country was facing economic hardship and political instability. Adolf was deeply affected by Germany's defeat. He felt betrayed and humiliated. He believed that strong leadership was needed to restore Germany's greatness. Adolf's struggles and aspirations were fueled by his experiences in the war. He believed that he had a mission to lead Germany to greatness. His determination and extreme beliefs drove him forward. He started to get involved in politics, hoping to make a difference. Despite his failures and hardships, Adolf never gave up on his dreams. His aspirations to lead and bring about change remained strong. Unfortunately, his extreme views and hatred would lead to devastating consequences. World War I was a pivotal time in Adolf Hitler's life. When the war began in 1914, he joined the German army with great enthusiasm. He believed that fighting for Germany was his duty. The war provided him with a sense of purpose and direction. Adolf served as a soldier on the Western Front. He faced many dangers and hardships, but he remained committed to his mission. He was known for his bravery and dedication. He carried messages between the front lines and was often exposed to enemy fire. For his courage, he received several medals, including the Iron Cross. During the war, Adolf's views became more intense. He saw the conflict as a struggle for Germany's survival and honor. He developed a strong bond with his fellow soldiers and admired their courage. However, the horrors of war also deepened his hatred towards those he blamed for Germany's problems. In 1918, the war ended with Germany's defeat. This was a devastating blow for Adolf. He could not accept that Germany had lost. He felt betrayed by the country's leaders and blamed them for the defeat. He believed that Germany had been stabbed in the back by its politicians and certain groups, including the Jewish community. The end of the war left Germany in chaos. The economy was in ruins, and there was political instability. Many people were unhappy and looking for someone to blame. Adolf saw this as an opportunity to spread his ideas and gain support. Adolf's experiences in World War I had a profound impact on him. The war strengthened his beliefs and shaped his future actions. He became convinced that Germany needed a strong leader to restore its greatness. He believed that he was the right person for the job. After the war, Adolf returned to Munich. He continued to think about how he could make a difference. He started to attend political meetings and joined a small political group called the German Workers' Party. This was the beginning of his journey into politics. World War I was a turning point in Adolf Hitler's life. It fueled his determination to lead and his extreme beliefs. His experiences in the war shaped his worldview and set the stage for his future rise to power. After World War I, Adolf Hitler's journey into politics began. He joined the German Workers' Party, a small political group in Munich. The party was nationalist and anti-Semitic, which aligned with Adolf's views. He quickly became an active member. Adolf's speaking skills and passion for nationalism made him stand out. He could captivate audiences with his speeches. He talked about Germany's greatness and blamed the country's problems on certain groups, particularly the Jewish community. His message resonated with many people who were unhappy with the state of the country. In 1920, the German Workers' Party changed its name to the National Socialist German Workers' Party, also known as the Nazi Party. Adolf played a significant role in shaping the party's ideology and goals. He wanted to unite Germans and restore the country's power and honor. Adolf's influence in the party grew. He attracted many followers with his powerful speeches and promises of a better future. He talked about the need for strong leadership and national unity. He also spread his hateful views about Jews, blaming them for Germany's problems. In 1921, Adolf became the leader of the Nazi Party. He introduced the party's symbol, the swastika, and adopted the title Führer, which means leader. Under his leadership, the party grew in strength and numbers. Adolf's vision of a united and powerful Germany attracted many supporters. Despite his rising popularity, Adolf faced many challenges. The political climate in Germany was unstable, and there was strong opposition to his views. He used propaganda and organized rallies to spread his message and gain more support. He also formed a paramilitary group called the SA, or Stormtroopers, to protect his meetings and intimidate opponents. Adolf's rise in politics was fueled by his determination and his ability to connect with people's frustrations and fears. He knew how to connect with people's emotions and used this skill to gain support. His rise to power was marked by his ability to manipulate and inspire others. Adolf Hitler's rise in politics was not without setbacks. One major event in his early political career was the Beer Hall Putsch, a failed coup attempt. This event was a turning point for Adolf and the Nazi Party. In 1923, Germany was facing severe economic problems. Inflation was out of control, and people were unhappy. Adolf saw this as an opportunity to take power. He believed that the government was weak and that he could lead a revolution. On November 8, 1923, Adolf and his followers stormed a beer hall in Munich where government officials were meeting. He announced that the revolution had begun. He expected the people to join him and overthrow the government. However, things did not go as planned. The police quickly responded, and the coup attempt failed. Adolf was arrested and charged with treason. Adolf's trial was highly publicized. He used it as an opportunity to spread his message. He spoke passionately about his beliefs and gained sympathy from many people. Despite being found guilty, he was sentenced to only 5 years in prison. He ended up serving just 9 months. While in prison, Adolf wrote a book called Mein Kampf, which means My Struggle. In this book, he outlined his ideas and plans for Germany. He wrote about his hatred for Jews and his desire for a strong, united Germany. Mein Kampf became very popular and helped spread his message further. Adolf's time in prison was a period of reflection and planning. He realized that he needed to change his approach. Instead of using violence, he decided to work within the political system to gain power. He began to rebuild the Nazi Party and attract more followers. The Beer Hall Putsch and his imprisonment were significant events in Adolf's rise to power. They taught him valuable lessons and helped him refine his strategies. He emerged from prison more determined than ever to achieve his goals. Adolf's ability to turn a setback into an opportunity for growth was a key factor in his success. His resilience and determination drove him forward, despite the challenges he faced. Unfortunately, his goals were based on hatred and division, leading to devastating consequences. After his release from prison, Adolf Hitler focused on rebuilding the Nazi Party. He wanted to gain power through legal means. He believed that working within the political system was the best way to achieve his goals. Adolf used propaganda to spread his message. He organized rallies and gave powerful speeches. He promised to restore Germany's greatness and blamed the country's problems on Jews and other groups. His message resonated with many people who were unhappy with the state of the country. In 1929, the Great Depression hit Germany hard. Many people lost their jobs and homes. They were looking for someone to solve their problems. Adolf used this opportunity to gain more support. He promised to create jobs and improve the economy. His popularity grew, and more people joined the Nazi Party. In 1932, the Nazi Party became the largest party in the German parliament. Adolf was appointed Chancellor of Germany in January 1933. This was a major turning point in his rise to power. He now had the authority to implement his ideas. Once in power, Adolf moved quickly to establish control. He passed laws that gave him more power and suppressed opposition. He used propaganda to promote his message and control the media. He also created a secret police force called the Gestapo to intimidate and silence his opponents. Adolf's rise to power was marked by his ability to manipulate and inspire others. He knew how to connect with people's emotions and used this skill to gain support. He promised a better future and played on people's fears and frustrations. His leadership was based on hatred and division, but he was able to convince many people that he had the answers to their problems. By 1934, Adolf had consolidated his power. He declared himself the Führer, or leader, of Germany. He had complete control over the government and the military. His vision of a strong, united Germany was becoming a reality, but at a terrible cost. Adolf's rise to power was marked by his determination and his ability to connect with people's emotions. He used propaganda and manipulation to gain support and establish control. Unfortunately, his leadership led to devastating consequences for Germany and the world. Adolf Hitler's rise to power led to one of the darkest periods in history, World War II. His aggressive policies and ambitions for expansion brought devastation and suffering to millions of people. In 1939, Adolf invaded Poland, starting World War II. He believed that Germany needed more land and resources to become a great power. His vision of a strong, united Germany included expanding its territory. The invasion of Poland led to Britain and France declaring war on Germany. Adolf's military strategies were initially successful. Germany quickly conquered much of Europe, including France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. His tactics, known as Blitzkrieg or Lightning War, involved fast and powerful attacks that overwhelmed enemy forces. However, Adolf's ambitions led to overreach. He decided to invade the Soviet Union in 1941, despite warnings from his generals. The harsh winter and fierce Soviet resistance led to heavy losses for the German army. This marked a turning point in the war. Adolf's leadership during the war was marked by his obsession with victory at any cost. He refused to listen to his generals and made many strategic mistakes. His decisions led to the suffering of millions of soldiers and civilians. As the war progressed, the tide began to turn against Germany. The Allies, including the United States, Britain, and the Soviet Union, began to push back. Key battles, such as the Battle of Stalingrad and the D-Day invasion, weakened the German forces. By 1945, Germany was on the brink of defeat. The Allies had closed in on Germany from all sides. The cities were heavily bombed, and the German army was in retreat. Adolf's vision of a strong, united Germany was falling apart. Adolf's leadership during World War II had devastating consequences. His aggressive policies and ambitions for expansion brought destruction and suffering to millions of people. The war led to the deaths of millions of soldiers and civilians and caused widespread devastation. Adolf's actions during World War II showed the dangers of unchecked power and hatred. His leadership was based on division and violence, leading to one of the darkest periods in history. The war left a lasting impact on the world and serves as a reminder of the importance of peace and unity. One of the most horrific aspects of Adolf Hitler's rule was the Holocaust. This was the systematic, state-sponsored persecution and murder of 6 million Jews and millions of other victims, including Roma, disabled individuals, political dissidents, and others. Adolf's hatred for Jews was central to his ideology. He believed that Jews were responsible for many of Germany's problems. He used propaganda to spread these hateful beliefs and convince others to support his plans. In 1941, Adolf implemented the final solution, a plan to exterminate the Jewish population in Europe. Concentration camps and extermination camps were established to carry out this plan. Jews were rounded up, transported to these camps, and murdered. The conditions in the camps were horrific, and many people died from starvation, disease, and forced labor. The Holocaust was carried out with chilling efficiency. The Nazis used advanced technology and meticulous planning to carry out the mass murder of millions of people. The scale and brutality of the Holocaust were unprecedented in history. Many people and organizations tried to stop the Holocaust, but the Nazis were relentless. The international community was slow to respond, and by the time the full extent of the atrocities was known, millions had already been killed. The Holocaust is a stark reminder of the dangers of hatred and intolerance. It shows the devastating consequences of prejudice and the importance of standing up against discrimination. The memory of the Holocaust serves as a powerful reminder to promote peace, unity, and human rights. Adolf Hitler's role in the Holocaust was a dark and horrifying chapter in history. His leadership was based on hatred and division, leading to the systematic murder of millions of innocent people. The Holocaust left a lasting scar on humanity and serves as a reminder of the importance of compassion and tolerance. Adolf Hitler's reign of terror came to an end in 1945. As the Allies advanced on Germany, it became clear that defeat was imminent. The once mighty Nazi regime was crumbling, and Adolf's vision of a strong, united Germany was in ruins. In April 1945, the Soviet forces reached Berlin. The city was heavily bombed, and the German army was in retreat. Adolf and his closest associates took refuge in a bunker beneath the Reich Chancellery in Berlin. As defeat loomed, Adolf's mental and physical health deteriorated. He became increasingly paranoid and isolated. On April 30, 1945, realizing that the end was near, Adolf took his own life. He was 56 years old. His death marked the end of the Nazi regime. The aftermath of Adolf's death saw the collapse of the Nazi government. Germany surrendered to the Allies on May 8, 1945, bringing an end to World War II in Europe. The country was left in ruins, and the world was left to reckon with the horrors of the war and the Holocaust. Adolf Hitler's downfall and death marked the end of a dark chapter in history. His rise to power was marked by hatred, division, and violence. His leadership brought devastation and suffering to millions of people. His actions serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of promoting peace, unity, and human rights. The story of Adolf Hitler is a cautionary tale. His rise to power and the devastation he caused remind us of the dangers of hatred, intolerance, and unchecked power. After Adolf's death, the world began to rebuild. The Allies worked together to bring peace and stability to Europe. Germany was divided into East and West, and the process of denazification began. This process aimed to remove Nazi influence from all aspects of society, including education, politics, and culture. The Nuremberg trials were held to bring Nazi war criminals to justice. Many of Adolf's top officials were tried and convicted for their crimes against humanity. These trials were an important step in addressing the atrocities committed during the Holocaust and World War II. In the years following the war, Germany underwent significant changes. The country worked to rebuild its economy and infrastructure. Efforts were made to promote democracy, human rights, and peace. The lessons learned from Adolf's regime shaped Germany's future, and the country became a strong advocate for peace and unity in Europe. Adolf Hitler's story is a reminder of the importance of standing up against hatred and intolerance. It teaches us the value of compassion, understanding, and respect for all people. The horrors of his regime show us the devastating consequences of prejudice and discrimination. For young learners, this story is a lesson in the importance of kindness and peace. It encourages us to be curious, ask questions, and seek understanding. By learning about history, we can work towards a better future where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. Adolf Hitler's rise and fall serve as a powerful reminder that we must always strive for a world where love and acceptance prevail. His story teaches us to reject hatred and to promote peace, unity, and human rights. By learning from the past, we can build a brighter future for all. Thank you for listening to this story. Remember, learning about history helps us understand the importance of kindness and compassion. Keep exploring, stay curious, and always strive to make the world a better place.